I'm excited to announce our upcoming 2023 Banking with Life client-only event. It's going to happen in mid-October of 2023. It's going to happen downtown Fort Worth, Texas. Our whole team will be there. The team has been working very hard to make this an event that's not to be missed. I'll be there, have an opportunity to meet me, have an opportunity to meet the team. I'm going to be speaking. We'll have other guest speakers, and you'll have the opportunity to meet a room full of like-minded people. Think about that. A room full of people that are practicing becoming their own banker. They are practicing the infinite banking concept. You'll have the opportunity to meet with them and share with them. You got to be somewhere. You might as well be there. In this episode, my friends Matt and Morgan fly in from Georgia, and they sit down with me to share with us their experience with the infinite banking concept over the last 12 months. And we kind of get into the discipline that's required to practice becoming your own banker and the rewards that follow. We had a good time, and I hope you enjoy listening. Thank you. Welcome to the Banking with Life podcast. I'm your host, James Neathery, and I'm always excited when we have friends come in to the epicenter of the Banking with Life podcast. Today is no different. As a matter of fact, I'm really excited today because of our guests. Matt and Morgan are here from Georgia, and they're, just going to have a lovely conversation with me and share how they got exposed to the infinite banking concept and everything else that they're willing to share with us. And you're invited to listen. Thank you for listening. All right, welcome, Matt, Morgan. How are y'all?
Hey, James.
Thank you.
We're doing fantastic.
Excited to be here.
Yes, excited to be here.
Perfect. I'm excited y'all are here. Now, we've known each other, or we met, over the internet, through the phone for about a year.
Yeah, a little over a year. Yep.
And I don't want to get ahead, so just, tell us a little bit about yourself and really the culmination of all the events.
Oh, my goodness.
That took place prior to getting here.
That's a lot. Do you want to start?
Why don't you start?
You want me to start?
Yeah, start with your quest for truth.
Quest for truth? Oh, man. It seems like that's just the common thing that everyone that ends up here is on a quest for the truth, So for me, it's not a whole lot different than everyone else I've heard. For me, it was about 4 years ago. I just started, waking up to there's more going on in the world that I don't know about, and that's kind of the, leads from one rabbit hole to another. Some of it's true, some of it, who knows if it's true, right?
Right.
But the big question that really set me off was, who controls the world and how are they doing it?
That's a big rabbit hole right there.
Oh,
sir.
my goodness. There's some, I'll save you from going down those rabbit holes. But ultimately, everyone feels the financial pressure. How come I'm not farther in life? How come I'm not, wealthier? I'm 37 now. How am I not wealthy? And you feel the financial pressure. You just feel that I don't know what I should know because I'm getting my butt kicked. It was what it feels like, just the financial pressure, right? I mean, I speak for myself, but that was for me. So I started waking up to the fact that I needed to improve my financial education. And so...
Well, can I insert something
Yeah, go
here?
ahead, babe. Yeah.
It was really interesting because we met 4 years ago, really 4 or 5 years ago. So this quest that he started, it really was when we were dating, and then right when we got married is when this, he kind of, was, just consuming all of this information. But for me, it really, I think so we have a martial arts background. He has a martial arts background. And I think a shift that happened for him was, okay, I want to know how to protect my family, in the physical realm. But it was kind of the shift to how do I protect them, in finances and from, the forces, at B and,
that's,
the unseen.
Absolutely. That's a good point. That
really drove, I think the passion is what drove, his urgency to
Yeah, absolutely. If you love people, you feel compelled to protect and serve those that you love. And as a martial artist, 2 different black belts, I was obsessed with martial arts, and in my younger mind, in my 20s, I'm fighting this evil, this darkness, somewhere that it's not manifesting in the physical. So I'm like, well, where is the war? Where is the war going on that I can fight the good fight, per se? And it just, every door I started knocking on, it started coming down to economics. Economic. Oh my goodness. Well, I don't know jack about economics. Let me start studying there, where some stuff's really happening. And so that's kind of
that's very interesting. I like it.
Yeah. So as a martial artist, I'm always thinking, warfare strategies, and it come to find out that banking is a superior position in economics.
How did you get to that? I mean, you're trying to protect your family, and, physically, and then financially, and going down the rabbit hole on the internet, books.
Yeah, so books. Yeah, so I just started really buying a lot of books. Amazon has
I see the bill and freak out. You spent how many thousands of dollars?
Thousands. I'm telling you, I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars, and I'll throw out a number, at least 30,000 or more.
On your education?
On my education, privately, outside of college, outside of just knowing that that wisdom is the most important thing.
Yeah, and that's impressive.
And and it's biblical, right? Yeah. Whatever you do, get knowledge, get insight, get wisdom. And so,
grind in the streets, young man.
So that's it. Get insight, get knowledge, get wisdom. Okay, well, man, where do you even start?
Yeah.
Where do you even start? And so I wanted to build wealth, wanted to build legacy, wanted to provide for those that I love.
Yeah.
And so that's where it started, buying books, everything I could find. There's a lot of great books out there. But if you'll that book right there.
Where along that $30,000 expenditure did you spend $20 on this one?
So it's so that one right there was the book that really started switching some things for me.
So did you see the banking theme in the economics?
Yeah. There's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of stuff that I had to weed through to get to that book and really define you, James. So it was, let's see, where's a good spot to start?
I'm still digesting the $30,000 expense.
Oh gosh!
Did this just pop up on Amazon for you, or did you?
Yeah, it became one of those suggested books, recommended books that Amazon.
And you're in a buying mode.
I'm in a buying mode, becoming your own banker. So I was going down this rabbit hole. So back to the rabbit hole, and I was at war with the banks. I was like, oh my gosh, the banks they're evil. They're beating us up. They're killing us. They're, all the fraud, so there's a lot of stuff out there, save you guys from that. But I was at war. I kind of declared war on the banks. I'm going to beat the banks. I'm going to, I hate banking. And so I went from an anger standpoint to, oh no, actually they're just doing things economically that I'm not. Mm-hmm. And it was that book that showed me, no, banking is not evil. The process of banking is fantastic. You just don't know how to do it, and you're not doing it for yourself. And you've given over the banking function to, other parties who are not serving your interest.
Yeah.
So I went through reading this book.
This is about 4 years ago.
Oh, this is about 4 years ago. So. Reading. Probably 2 years ago is when I find Nelson's book.
Okay.
That's about right.
I'd say so.
Yeah, that's about right.
I'd say so.
Was you, Morgan, just thinking, oh my gosh, just another book?
She's like, God
I'm
help my
tolerating.
I'm just praying because it's, we're very different in that I'm very much a rule follower. So, I just had my head down online just doing like everybody else. And, why does this have to be complicated? Why can't we just, And, obviously now I thank God, that, I married Matt and he's so different, and it's easy for him even to be outside the box and think outside the box and challenge what's normal in society, but I was I was just praying this whole time, okay, please put him on the right information, Lord, because we didn't really have anybody else around us that was necessarily, like when he started studying law and just some of the topics that we didn't have anybody around us to take him by the hand. And so I was just praying, God, please send him a mentor. That was my main prayer. Please send him a mentor. And so, and please keep him out of jail.
Because he's not a real follower.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
just, I don't mean that in, just in that, God, show us
Not
where we can, where we can escape the system and show us, where we need to learn how to play by the systems.
Mm-hmm. By the rules, right?
That's kind of my, and so yeah, you want to pick back up from
No, I'm glad that you shared that because I'm very thankful for your prayers. I mean, that really matters.
Well, and he would share, what he was learning with me, and so I'm just listening. I'm taking it in, and I don't have a background in economics or finance, so it was more of me relying on my woman's intuition and just the Lord, just praying for discernment. Okay, God, show us, and it was when by the time he met you guys and met you, it was really I think it was more than intuition. It really was just like a knowing in my spirit, like this God's answering my prayer.
Wow.
When you literally offered to be his mentor, and that was like the main thing that I had been praying for. Mm-hmm.
I just offered that up.
You did,
and it was like, you have no idea. Just it was you were an answer to our prayers.
Well, thank you very much for that. But that was 2 years into your search, and
2 years into
down this, and you're praying for him the whole time that he doesn't fall off a cliff and down in too deep into the rabbit hole, can't get out. And
so
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard to know where to start sometimes with your story because there really is so much that's happening, but a little bit about my background, what I do, where I'm from. I started out, graduated from UGA. Before all that, kind of just really trying to figure out what being a man was like. And so I really clung to the whole idea of being a warrior. What does that mean? Almost went in the military like so many times. Thankfully, had a mentor there, got involved in martial arts. I got addicted to martial arts, and so I was big into martial arts. So became a full-time instructor. That was my thing. Didn't pay very good. And then I moved to became a firefighter, EMT for Athens, Georgia. A lot of great experience there, great guys there, and then started building a insurance business on the side with my brother. It was something that he was doing, successful in, mostly with Medicare, not so much life insurance. And so I knew just enough about life insurance to know that it was a good thing. So I didn't really have I never really bought into some of the Dave Ramsey stuff, but can I say that?
You can say whatever you want.
Okay. Bless you, Dave. But yeah.
No, I mean, we should not be, the debtor servant to the lender, and he'll show you how to get out of debt. He'll take you right up to the water and just damn near drown you, my opinion.
Yep.
But there is good in, getting out of debt. No question.
Sure.
But to demonize life insurance, is in error, my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Totally agreed.
So how long were you in Medicare, and where was that in your journey 2.5 years into getting this?
So I was full-time, professional firefighter, working 24 and then off 48. And on that 48, I was a Medicare broker, advisor. And still am licensed. I do still have some clients, but got quite a few clients. I was building that business for about 3 years, firefighting for 6 years. Just recently, last year,
I got it.
Went out on business, ventures for myself, and Morgan's joined me full time, and it's been great.
What did you do last year? What was this change?
Thankfully, I didn't have any debt, and I was just fast forwarding my life, and figuring out we've got no kids, no debt. Now's the best time for me to become to do entrepreneurial avenues.
Okay.
And so, like a lot of people, got into some real estate stuff, found some success there, and I just really love this, becoming your own banker thing. This concept, the infinite banking concept, is fantastic. I love it. Want to know more, so want to keep doing it and teach it, train it, live it, breathe it.
Perfect. Okay, so you read the book, all right, and then what'd you do? And so you're doing the real estate, and you're doing an entrepreneurial shift, right?
Right.
Because you're young, you have the opportunity. So where'd it go from there? So you read the book, you've done some real estate.
Yeah.
Morgan's, y'all are working together.
Well, even before all that, I had to find someone that I could trust to help me out with a policy. That was the foundation. Nelson's book, I just was like, man, if I'm going to build an empire or a wealth, if I'm going to build wealth, this book right here has to be the foundation that I build it on.
And you got that from reading the book.
I got that from reading the book. All of the other books that were not Nelson's book,
I got it.
And so I was like, well, this is the foundation. This has to be it. This is what the entire empire will be built on. And
look, he's building empires.
I love it. Yeah.
With a praying wife. What could go wrong? Not much.
Well, I got to have a praying wife, right?
Yeah.
Need that.
Yeah.
To all you guys out there, highly recommend.
If you don't have one, get one is what he's saying.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you.
I tell women, listen, if you don't have a wife, you need to get one. I'm just saying.
They are great helpers. I'm telling you. So thankful for that woman. So anyway, I needed to find somebody that I could trust to set up this policy. And again, like I said, I had gone to a couple other people out there that are, good at the whole ClickFunnels thing.
Did you go like somebody local? You're in the insurance industry, so
yeah. The people that I knew in the insurance industry, I just honestly didn't really trust that. As far as the life insurance portion, this is, to me, what Nelson was talking about is a very high level, very unconventional, type of life insurance message. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're going to find really anywhere else. So I went looking online. That's what you do. And then I found a lot of the ones that were easy to find.
Yeah,
I found a lot of noise out there, James. A lot of noise.
But you surely didn't know that, did you?
I had no idea. And you hear other people out there saying the infinite banking concept. They're trying to rename it, all kinds of other things now. In my opinion, bastardizing Nelson's message. Sorry,
some buzzwords and
some buzzwords. The marketing. They were, hey, oh yeah, and so I went through the process of a couple other companies, insurance guys, and when it got down to, okay, I'm meeting them face to face, they're trying to show me this policy, and the numbers look good, right? I mean, they can always mess with the numbers and make the numbers look good.
Sure.
But it just didn't feel right, James. Every time I got in that, one-on-one with the agent, I didn't hear Nelson. I did not hear what Nelson was preaching and teaching. They may just name drop Nelson, but again, I wasn't hearing what I read in that book. And to me, those are like red flags. And I'm like, it just doesn't feel right. Like they're talking, they're showing me numbers, but they're rushing me through the process. They're not talking about becoming your own banker. The whole point of Nelson's message is becoming your own banker, and I wasn't getting any of that. Didn't hear that, and so that was the red flags. And I was like, I'm next. Mm-hmm. Not gonna. Nope, next. And eventually, I just got exhausted, James. I'm gonna be honest. I got really tired of trying to just cut through all of the mess out there, and what really set me off was like, okay, I don't know who else to trust, but I'm gonna find the guy that wrote this book.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm gonna find the guy. And so I was like, you know what? Forget that. I'm gonna go to the source. I'm gonna go to the source of the infinite banking concept. And where's Nelson? Let me find him. And God bless him. I wish I had met him. He was like, oh man, come to find out Nelson had passed, and that was really sad. I was like, man, I was sad. I was really sad. But then for me, it was okay. Surely Nelson had a protege. Surely Nelson had passed the mantle to someone else. And it was for me well, that's the guy I want to talk to. Who was it who knew Nelson best? Who really knew Nelson and was mentored by Nelson? That's where I'm going. And, thankfully you're putting out content. I was able to do some research that I like to do, and had a praying wife, and those two things, all that came together. So, that's why, I was like, yeah.
I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Nelson mentored a lot of people. There's no question. There's a lot of good people out there, promoting the idea that you can become your own banker. Yep. But I don't think it was just happenstance that, we connected. But so you went through a couple.
Yep, went through a couple.
So you go to Birmingham, Alabama, looking, you wind up there.
Right, absolutely.
Online, Nelson Nash Institute, right.
Exactly.
Find out that he graduated. Then it's like, who else? And then, our content just coming up.
Yeah.
Recommended reading or watching.
Yeah.
YouTube.
I actually went through a couple of the, if you go to the Nelson Nash Institute, you'll find there's a practitioner finder on there. You'll find some people that are authorized to do the infinite banking concept. And no offense to anybody that's in the state of Georgia. I know there's a couple of you there. I just wasn't sitting right with me. And so I, found you, and it was,
Was that a challenge? I mean,
that was a challenge. So even I don't want to, you get on here, you don't want to offend anybody, but
no, we're not trying to offend anyone.
Not everybody it is equal. So I have my martial arts background has shaped my thinking that, even in the martial arts world, not all black belts are equal. They're not, and so I know based off of my training, if you want to be the master, you have to find the one who's truly is a master and truly is who has the skill that you want to associate with.
Yeah.
And skill can only be, you can only get skill through experience, time in, who has discipline and study, and who, how much do you know about what you know? And so I knew that, and I knew that not all, not everyone in the industry is the same.
No.
By far. And, in the life insurance world, good Lord, I mean, it's, how many people are in life insurance?
The last I checked several years ago was about 36,000.
Yeah. So,
wait, that's not true. 336.
300. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's
my
a lot.
goodness. There's a lot.
All right, so you sure didn't look at a video, watch a video of me and say, oh, that's, he's a master. I mean, so, and then, but wait, you were looking locally at first. And
Locally.
Were you looking locally in Georgia? Did you go to their offices physically or what?
No, I totally made an online judgment based off of their branding, their image, what information I could find,
right.
And it didn't really seem like anyone was really trying to get this message out there.
I got you. And so was it a challenge or a hesitancy to work with somebody, several states away, over the phone, through the internet?
No, not as much for me. I can see how that would be a challenge, to think that, well, I live in Georgia, I got to deal with somebody in Georgia,
right.
But I knew enough about insurance to know that no, that's not the case. And so for me, it was, I need to go to somebody that I can trust to build the legacies, to build the wealth on it. And so, yeah, that's why I'm here.
Cool. I appreciate that. So you called us or reached out to us, and maybe we had a couple of phone calls. I mean, I really don't remember. I remember y'all, but I don't remember, the details. So did we have a few phone calls, or what did we do? Was the process easy, hard?
The process was really easy. I just filled out the thing online. I mean, it was a really simple process, and I think I talked to, had a phone call, one of those phone calls where they're really, I could tell they're really trying to gauge the situation, like how, okay, because every situation is unique.
Yeah.
And I knew that they were trying to, okay, well, I'm going to ask you some questions.
A lot of questions.
I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. And then I knew that they weren't trying to they were trying to understand my situation so that they could actually help me get in the right spot.
Yeah.
Because these policies are, you can really customize them absolutely to the individual, and everybody's situation is different. So it is when they say it's a specially engineered policy, it is. And it has to be because
they don't all look alike. They don't all look alike.
Well, they shouldn't because we're all unique.
Sounds so communistic if they all look the same.
So just kind of the onboarding of that was really easy. Everybody was super nice. It just kind of felt like home. Just the whole process was easy.
Perfect. And so did you? Well, I mean, we ask it when people engage with us, we get their background. Part of that is, are you an agent? Are you working with other people? What are you doing? And if you're working with other people, you go through their process, either become a client or not. And if you don't, then, come back. And so you had to have disclosed that you were an agent because you asked that.
I did. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so,
and I don't want to say I'm harsh on it. I got a special place in my heart for agents, but my tolerance goes way down very quickly if they're not very straightforward and I mean that in love, okay? So but you had to disclose.
Oh yeah, I disclosed. Yeah, no, I'm an agent. I'm licensed, but I'm mostly with Medicare doing that. Yeah. Disclosed all that, and for me it was I want James to be my agent, and it was, and I also disclosed too that I had checked out other sources, and I was, I had sat through some other people claiming to do the infinite banking concept. Come find out they were not authorized practitioners.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, hindsight's 2020.
Yeah. Anyway.
You're probably ahead of
going to the source, So
yeah.
So, and I know that there's a lot. Again, there's a lot more to know, about this. How much do you really know about what you know? And so, again, if I like to go back to the framework of if I'm in martial arts training, who do I want to teach me the martial art? Well, I'm taking up another martial art in the economic realms of becoming your own banker. Who do I want to teach me? And who do I want to be my sensei in that? And again,
Here he is.
Here he is, guys. So, James Neathery.
So I appreciate that. And was it, maybe from your reading that you could spot what was like, this is not Nelson. I'm not hearing Nelson because you've read and because of the background, the reading and research that you've done. It really didn't take you. I mean, I know you're a gracious man, so, you weren't rude or anything, but gently swiping left, right, to the next one.
That's definitely the case. If you read Nelson's book, for me it was, I had a mentor of mine say that, you study the truth. If you know the truth, then you can spot a lie from a mile away. Yeah. And so again, that book, I don't want to compare it to the Bible, but it's got a lot of similarities.
It comes to economics. It's foundational truth.
It's a foundational truth when economics. And so
at the you and me level,
at the individual level, at the individual level, which is the only level that you can be on, guys. I mean,
right?
It's the only level that I can be on. I'm not going to be anyway.
And so,
so I read the book, and if you know the principles that are in that book, then you got to know what to do.
Yeah. You know what's going on.
You know what's going on.
Part of your journey there, looking for the truth and going down the rabbit hole, seeking the truth and becoming more and more aware of what's really going on. And then when you see what's going on, and you'll know what to do.
So can I see this book
Definitely.
again? So this is I'm a visual guy.
Yeah, okay.
So if I'm studying this book and I'm knowing, okay, this is the original. This is the original right here. This is the original. Okay, so I'm reading this original. I'm studying the original. All right. then if a counterfeit comes along, I can spot it.
Yeah.
I can spot it. And so that's what was happening, and that's what helped. Ultimately, I think saved me from making a bad choice in another place. Going somewhere else. Now I know why you asked the question. Before you become a client, have you read Becoming Your Own Banker?
Yeah, and that's important. And I get people. Some people don't like to read. Most people don't have time to read, and I get all that. But Nelson printed this in 2000. He became a life insurance agent in 1964.
Yeah.
Right. He quit writing life insurance as an agent outside of his family when he printed that book. Right. So prior to 1964, he's a forester, an investor in real estate, timberland, educated as a forester, been buying life insurance and paying for it since he was 14 years old. I mean, the guy knew something about life insurance, and he was an Austrian economist. So here he is, knows something about natural law and forestry, long-term thinking, knows something about Austrian economics. I think they have it more right than any one of all the schools of economic thought.
Agreed.
And then his brother was a life insurance agent. He talks a lot about his 1959 state farm policy, right? Used it in his presentations an awful lot. Becomes an agent at 64. Very successful life insurance agent for two of the greatest mutual companies. One demutualized since then. I don't know how much life insurance a guy has been caused to be written. I mean, I know it's a lot. I know. I was told a couple of years ago. I know it's not about me. I'm just saying that I've written and enforced over $1 billion in death benefit.
You have?
One guy. Me.
You.
One guy.
That's a big number.
It's a government number, ain't it? I mean, so if I'm one guy,
that's a big number.
It is. It's a big number. I was kind of surprised when I heard it. But I mean, he's caused a lot of life insurance to be written, and the guy knew an awful lot about life insurance, right? Yeah. And then he writes a book, 92 pages, big print, lots of illustrations, blank pages, and it takes maybe 3 or 4 hours to read that book. I'm a slow reader.
Same.
Right?
Yeah, I'm a slow reader.
Might even have to read it twice, and it's okay to read it 2 or 3 times.
Look, the first time I read this book, I had that what to say, it was...
It's counterintuitive to the way you think.
Absolutely.
And it's the exact opposite of what to do with your money. It's the exact opposite of what you're told to do with your money.
That's what, that's part of what was so hard getting to this point was like unlearning what I had learned, which is, and then if you start going down this, there's a lot of people right next to you that'll tell you you're crazy.
Oh, all of them. Unless they know what you know.
Unless they know what you've read. Exactly.
You almost can't talk about it.
No, you almost can't. And then it's a fight, guys. I mean, for me, it is a fight to get to this point where you're implementing this.
Yeah.
Even at a small level, and I would encourage anyone to start no matter how small you think it is. You got
to start where you're at. No, it doesn't matter. I had a conversation with a guy coming in this morning. So I have a phone stuck in my ear when I get up, and drive to work. I have a phone stuck in my ear when I'm driving home, and this guy happens to be in the industry, and we were talking about policies, and the amount of uninsured people in America is like 110 million, uninsured or underinsured. Wow. And then in applying that to me in a banking concept, and my encouragement to him was, every policy doesn't need to be 10, 15, 20, 30, 100, $1 million premium.
Right.
And if you could do it, you should, right? But you should know about it before you do. But everybody, all of those, so the conversation went along the lines of how many of those uninsured, underinsured people do you think, are insurable or would need life insurance? And he's like, 110 million, 110 million people underinsured or uninsured. And he said, what do you think, about 25 million, 30 million? And I said, no. I said, every policy doesn't have to be big. You can start at $250 a month, $500 a month, $750 a month, or whatever. It's a legitimate number wherever you're at. And then I think out of all those, maybe 80% of them should do this, or they should at least be aware of it.
Absolutely.
And so, And Nelson and I, we'd always talk, and it was from him. What are you doing, Nelson? Oh, I'm pushing back the frontiers of ignorance, What are you doing? I'm pushing back the frontiers of ignorance. Or expanding the frontiers of knowledge, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, going back to Nelson's history there, and then this book being in print in 2000, I'll have a 20-minute conversation with anybody.
Right.
But to go much past that, you have to read the book. If you're not willing and you don't care, why should I care?
100%.
Right? And then I can't convey what Nelson did. Here we're going to talk maybe 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And, there's over 100 hours of videos out there, and all the talks that, I've done in the past. I can't convey
correct
what is in this book. I don't even think I could get it done in 10 hours. I don't think anyone could. Nelson could, but that's the importance of reading that, but you got to have a foundation there, because I can't convey what Nelson conveyed in the book. And then you can't, I can't convey what's in this book to my spouse.
Right.
And I've been a life insurance agent for 30-something years.
Well, and it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. You're going to be speaking on deaf ears that can't hear.
Exactly.
A mind that can't, the cup is full.
Yeah.
And you can't put anything in there.
Right. We got to have a common basis if we're going to talk about the infinite banking concept.
Absolutely.
So it's important. So where along the line did so when you called us, and you had to be giddy that day, right? If you think you found your sensei, right, in the financial world.
He was. I was.
I would be. I was when I met Nelson. I was giddy as could be. Oh my, this is what I've been looking for my whole life.
Fantastic. And I knew that. I got to implement this. I need to become a client as soon as possible. I need to. Implement this personally before I even talk to anyone about it.
Yeah. Did we have a conversation about you becoming an agent?
I think we did. I just thought about, man, everyone needs to know this. Everyone needs to know this. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I'm like, I need to share it. Well, I can't. If you don't need to share something that you can't back up and that you're not doing. Personally. Yeah. And so I hit the pause button on that and decided, I'm going to get a policy. I'm going to start doing the infinite banking concept in my life personally. And
my daddy used to say,
I want as many policies as I can get, James.
Yeah. Well, I know someone that can help you out.
Could you help me?
I can help you out.
Yeah.
My daddy used to say, you can't give away what you don't have.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely true.
And there's really nothing even complicated about all this.
No.
Is there?
No.
All the limitations are between your ears. There's really nothing complicated about this. If you have a basic fundamental understanding of the concept, and a basic fundamental understanding of life insurance, just to the extent to where you can manage a policy or a series of policies, and then you're good to go. You're golden. It's like, what can you do? And then a little help with other people, along the way. Has that been your case? What have y'all done? Because y'all got a policy about a year ago, right?
He has one. I'm working on one now.
So we're actually even coming in here. No, we're getting her policy. I'm getting another policy. Just because
this was news to me yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. Like, oh, hey, by the way,
while we're here,
business is good. Let's cram some capital and some more policies. So I believe the message of staying capitalized from what I've heard you guys say, and then I love getting on the computer, logging in and checking on my policy, and I do.
He yelled from the business or their office space the other day. I was in another room. He said, "Morgan, my policy grew $4 today." So excited to.
So yeah, it's growing every day. It's growing right now, and it's just I love paying my premium. I really do. It's one of those things where.
What a concept that is. You think that through, it's like, I love paying my premium. That is absolutely sincere. I love paying. I'm the same way. I can't wait to pay a premium. Yeah. It's like, you must know something that people who don't want to pay a premium or afraid to pay a premium or want to pay a little premium don't know.
They don't know.
Right.
They don't know, and they're just not looking at it they're not sitting at the table looking at it from the perspective that that I'm looking at it, or you're looking at it, or that Nelson was looking at it. They just can't see it.
Right.
They can't see it. If they could grasp it, they would get excited too.
So you feel called to help people like that?
Well, I mean, if you love people, you want to help them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of a better way to help someone than economically speaking. It's connected to everything we need. I mean, if you're a human and you eat food and you use things, you should have appreciation for economics.
Yeah, you cannot have freedom without economic freedom.
I totally agree.
So that's pretty.
Yeah, and I love the ease that I can check on my policy. I can pay from online.
Who wants to get up, look at their
I do. I get excited about it. Man, I'm looking at my policy. Right. I'm like, and so I was doing monthly. I was doing monthly premium.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I think I switched to doing annual.
Got all that money in somebody else's bank.
Thank you very much.
The bank pays dividends.
That is it. I'm
to
like,
the owners, not you.
Not me.
They're sitting over there.
And
how long did that take you?
Oh,
and it's okay.
Honestly, it took me a couple months. And I'm like, dang it.
Yeah.
I'm stuck. I got to wait till next year. I was calling the office. Hey, when can I switch to annual premium? And so they had my policy anniversary date, and I'm counting down the days. I'm not kidding. I have that date set, and I'm not that organized. Am I?
No. So I didn't even realize that.
You didn't know that? Yeah. So I was counting down the days, waiting for me to be able to take that chunk of capital and put it in that policy.
And you probably do online banking and all that. I don't know.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
So you're just waiting to push the button.
Waiting to push the button, waiting to send, put capital in that policy. And again, knowing that I can take that out almost any time I want. If an opportunity comes along, great.
So look, you can get mad and quit anytime. And you can look into the future, even though there's some non-guaranteed components of a life insurance policy,
right.
Mutual, dividend paying. The dividend is not guaranteed. But, when you're working with companies that have never failed to pay a dividend in over 100 years, I mean, you can have a pretty accurate knowing and understanding of when you can get mad and quit and walk away with everything that you put in.
Right.
And then the loss would be, the time value of money, but then you would have paid for that experience, and we all pay for our education. Mm-hmm. Or say you don't get mad and quit, and you don't take everything out, then you can just collateralize it and borrow against it. While it's sitting there still earning interest and dividends, lack of terminology, the interest credits, that base, the cash value must equal the face amount at age 120. So just by construct, the cash value increases every year. And we can always look back and figure out a rate of return and blah, blah, blah. But it's going one way. The values are going up.
It's only going up.
And so you can borrow against that on demand.
On demand.
And it doesn't interrupt that increasing compounding.
Click of a button.
And then, as you said, take advantage of an opportunity.
Take advantage of an opportunity. And I've heard it said, you guys have said it many times, that capital attracts opportunity.
It does.
Oh, absolutely. When you know that you've got capital just sitting there, and it's doing good, by the way. It's growing every day. I don't know, for me, paying annually, and I see it grow every day.
Yeah.
And it's doing great there. It's doing really good there. And
so then it increases your ability to even vet an opportunity.
100%. 100%. If it's not too good to be true, awesome opportunity. You're good. You're good, capital. You just sit right there. You just sit right there.
I like looking at you every day.
I like looking at you. I do. I really do. I love looking at you growing and knowing. Here's what's really cool though. This is just helping me rethink my thinking. Love you, Nelson. Rethinking my thinking.
Absolutely.
The death benefit. I love that too. I love the death benefit too. And what I think about the death benefit is if my goal was wealth, okay, then the death benefit, it's almost like a target. Mm-hmm. Hey, I want to set a goal. My goal is let's say I just want to have $1 million. All right, I'll just keep the numbers small. Let's say my goal, I want to have $1 million.
Keep numbers small.
Yeah. This day and age, right?
Yeah. Million's not what it used to be.
Thank you. Right? I know. Let's just want to have I want to get to $1 million in wealth, right? And so if you're on your wealth building journey, you're setting off for, all right, I want to build wealth for my family. I want to be able to leave this amount when wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. I read that somewhere too.
Yeah.
If my goal is $1 million in capital that I want to be able to get to, the death benefit ensures that I get there.
As long as you pay the premium.
As long as I pay the premium. So what you're telling me is that if I keep making my premium, I have a big goal, the big goal being $1 million, okay, and I chop that up into small goals, then you're telling me I have a yearly goal?
Now tell me, does that do anything? I mean, two black belts, there's some discipline there. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Does that, premium, scheduled premium, I don't care if it's monthly or annually.
Yep.
Does that do anything to your discipline and your actions and the way you think?
Oh, absolutely.
About a premium is like, not afraid to pay a premium, actually want to pay a premium.
I want to. It actually incentivizes me because I love it and I know the power of it. Yeah. I'm actually creating more incentive for me to be more productive.
Yeah, certain amount of pressure, huh?
Yeah, and I'm also incentivized to be healthy.
What?
Well, yeah.
No
win-win. Can you imagine that?
And if I wasn't healthy, right, and didn't know it, an easy way to find out is to go through underwriting. The underwriters will tell you.
Yeah.
Right. And then, I jest about it, but we have that conversation probably at least once or twice a month. Typically a middle-aged man, doesn't want to go to the doctor. I get it. I'm one.
Yeah.
But I do go to the doctor. Whatever, sleep apnea, heart arrhythmia, whatever the situation is, my numbers aren't cholesterol, blood sugar, A1Cs, and I know the numbers, and I know I'm not healthy, and I don't want to go to the doctor to have it confirmed, but then they like the idea of becoming their own banker. So they go through the underwriting process, and then they get stared right in the face. No, you cannot have life insurance. You don't qualify for life insurance, health-wise. Mm-hmm. So, or you're highly rated, so yeah, you can have it, but you got to pay a higher cost per thousand of death benefit to get it. And sometimes these people, I'm saying the guy knows, and he's avoiding the doctor, but sometimes these people don't know. Mm-hmm. Then they go find out.
Yeah.
And you can,
then trying to do this almost just saved their life.
Well,
is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is because they want to do this and they go through underwriting, they might find out that they have an issue that they were unaware of, and therefore they have an opportunity to correct that issue and maybe live longer.
That's good. Yeah. That's absolutely true. Yeah,
very powerful.
That is powerful.
It is.
I just love how the interests are aligned in such beautiful harmony. Life insurance companies, they want you to live a long, healthy life.
Right.
Who doesn't want to live a long, healthy life?
Right. And who doesn't want to be wealthy?
Who doesn't want to be wealthy?
Right.
Wealthy and healthy, they go together.
Right. The wealth doesn't matter if you don't have your health.
That's
doesn't
right.
matter.
I did want to say one thing, though, as far as one of the points I was trying to make that I love about the life insurance. If my target number is $1 million, if something tragic happens along my journey of 30 years trying to get there, that's okay. The life insurance got me covered. My wife's going to get it. Mm-hmm. My loved ones that I was going to leave it to anyway are going to get it. Mm-hmm. I love the death benefit. Are you kidding me?
Right.
I love it.
If you look at the construct of life insurance, you say, well, what's your estate value, assets, liabilities, net worth, here's the value of the estate that you're going to leave behind. And a lot of people are negative in America, right? They don't have anything. Net. There's no estate value. So life insurance creates that immediate estate, right? So a stroke of the pen, right? Really is what it boils down to. You got to be healthy. You got to go through underwriting and all that. But so therefore, you're set out on your path to accumulate this wealth. But if you graduate early, my gosh, it's there. Only through life insurance. There's not another financial product on the face of the earth that has all of the characteristics that life insurance does.
It doesn't exist.
And then when you look at those characteristics, they have more characteristics of a banking entity than even life insurance.
100%.
And that's what Nelson,
100%.
discovered. It's like, my gosh, what's wrong with this?
And it's been here the whole time.
Yeah.
It's been in front of us the whole time.
Yeah.
And we thank you, Nelson.
Yeah. bastardized, the stepchild of the financial world, the bad, evil companies, the high commissions that are paid, the evil people that sell it and promote it. And it's like, wonder why that narrative even exists if we're talking about going down rabbit holes. And I don't necessarily want to drag you down a rabbit hole, but why would Wall Street love their quote-unquote competition? Why would bond sellers, traders love their competition? Why would term promoters, temporary coverage, the most profitable product for the life insurance company when it comes to life insurance,
Yep.
why would they want to promote it? Why would they want to subject themselves to the mutual construct and concept of mutuality?
Right.
Why not just let me demutualize or be a stock company where I can play games with numbers on a page and create money through shares of stock? And
Yep.
I'm just saying, when you really look at the characteristics, it's wholesome. I mean,
I've looked at it through almost every. I'm very analytical, and I've looked at it through almost every angle that I can. Like, where's the weakness in this thing?
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you know. Where's the weakness here? And I've yet to find one.
Yeah.
As far as just from all angles, it is mutually beneficial.
That's right. To the company, to
the
you,
company, to me,
society.
And I'm shifting risk. The company is actually taking risk, and when you actually want to become your own banker, the whole game is about shifting risk, is it not? I mean,
in life insurance, absolutely.
Yeah, in life insurance, but I mean that's something the banks do, is shift risk to.
Yeah, look, no question. It's like, I'm going to give you a loan and whatever number you want, I'm going to over collateralize that loan. If you want $100,000, I'm going to have 150 in collateral.
Yeah.
Things could be bad whenever you don't pay the loan, because I know you're not going to pay the loan, so I'm going to therefore charge you whatever interest rate there is, and it's higher now than what it used to be. And oh wait, on money that didn't exist. So that's how fractional reserve banking is evil. If I'm lending you money that doesn't exist and then charging interest on it, and you're pledging with your John Henry everything that you own and all of your future productivity. Oh my gosh, it's a win hard for the banks.
100%.
It's like, it is so not that, difficult to think through when you see kind of what's going on. Well, I just need a car. I can go down to get a car loan at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 12%, whatever it is. I got to drive that A. Well, if you had some discipline and accumulate some capital,
Yep.
right, then you might find a better deal on a car where you don't have to run down right tomorrow to buy a car, right? And then you control that whole banking function.
It's powerful.
It's life changing. And then when you say that you're looking, what's wrong with it, I'm telling you, I did it for 4 years. I'm a life insurance agent, at that time now, 18 years in the business, right? Life insurance business. Because I was 14 before I met Nelson. So I buy policies, right? And they're all too small, made every mistake. And, and I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm writing these checks, paying this premium that was too small, and I'm still scrutinizing it, right? What's wrong with this? I'm waiting for the hammer. I'm waiting, and I'm just like you, analytical, very like penciling every loan, every dividend, every interest, charge. I'm penciling. Mm-hmm. And then if you just do that long enough, do it long-handed, I'm a non-tech guy, right?
Yep.
I don't run Excel spreadsheets, but I'm surrounded by Excel ninjas, okay? I'm just saying, I long-handed out a real estate deal after about 2 years. I bought a property. My wife and I bought a property. We financed the down payment through a policy loan, and then we financed the remodeling through a policy loan. I didn't have enough capital. It was all deployed, I had over 90% of the cash values collateralized at that time, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway, and I get this note, and I'll do it sometime when I'll put everything I've done that I can recall whenever I write a book. But this was a longtime banker, this guy that was my banker at that time, he was a teller when my dad, he was a teller at the bank my dad banked at. Years, I knew him for years, and he was a yes man. Not a yes man in a bad way, but he would, if you ask him, if you told him, man, I need some money on this, what I'm doing, he would, well, let's figure out how to make it happen.
Right.
That kind of guy. Everybody should have that kind of guy. Anyway, this particular note was a 15-year amortized note with a balloon payment. Right, it was 685 or whatever it was, and I paid it for a couple of years, and remodeled it. The office, I mean, everything was great, and I just long-handed it out. I was tired of paying payments. You have lines of credit, notes, mortgages, whatever it is. I got tired of managing how many payments that I had to keep up with to other people, and because I'm not overly tech, you have 10 or 15 notes going. It's like you can miss a payment.
Oh, that's easy to do. Yeah.
Make a late payment.
Absolutely.
And I got tired of all that and penciled it through it. And man, I paid that note off the next, in short order, within the next 2 weeks. And it's like, oh my gosh. But that was somewhere along, that was somewhere along that 4-year period, somewhere in there where after that I quit penciling. I just pay premium, take advantage of opportunities, finance everything that makes sense to finance. Yeah. And don't care what the credit score is. Don't care what the interest rates are.
How cool is that?
Don't care what the dividend is.
What's that like?
It's pretty cool. It's like I don't care. I don't have to, what's your credit score? I don't know. Why? It's like somebody's going to grade me, judge me on some numbers. I get it. They're grading, your history and financial acumen and all that stuff. But it's like, it's a whole different way to live.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It requires discipline. You don't just become your own banker overnight.
No.
It's a process. And if you haven't laid up capital somewhere, then you have no capital to lend to be a banker. You're just chasing a dream.
We went a little long in this episode because we were having fun. So we're going to pick it up in the next episode. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for joining us on the Banking with Life podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe and click on that little notification bell. Otherwise, join us on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher for weekly content.